If you're looking to find more information about Max Out Pro by Fritz Aquatics, then stick around. We're going to look at the product to find out what it does, how it works, some pros and cons of it, and I'll go over the experience I had with Max Out Pro in my reef tank. Alright guys, welcome to the channel. My name is James. This is where we discuss all things saltwater aquarium and corals. And today we're going to be looking at Max Out Pro by Fritz Aquatics. If you're not familiar with Max Out or the Max Out brand, let me give you a quick overview of what these products are and how they came into the market. So there was a startup company called Max Out Aquatics. It was started by a gentleman named Scott Crow, and they had several products in their lineup such as Max Out Pro, Max Out, some coral food, and a product for algae control called Fuzz Out. So in 2020, Fritz Aquatics acquired Max Out Aquatics and basically added all of their products to their lineup. If you're in the reef keeping hobby, certainly you've heard of Fritz Aquatics before. We all know them for their TurboStart nitrifying bacteria, their salt mixes, and a whole wide range of other products such as medications that they offer. So by acquiring Max Out Aquatics, it actually helped Fritz because it established a wider footprint in the marketplace, and it brought new products that they currently didn't have into their lineup. Alright, so let's get into it. What is Max Out Pro? So if we head over to Fritz Aquatics website and we take a look at their definition of Max Out Pro, we look at some of their bullet points. What is Max Out Pro for? It polishes the aquarium water quickly and efficiently. It quickly removes toxins and keeps trace elements in balance. Works for freshwater and saltwater, and it comes in a pre-filled nylon bag, which obviously means no mess for you. Alright, I'm not going to read you the formal definition of Max Out Pro from Fritz's website, but basically it's a combination of high-grade carbon, phosphate resin, and organic scavenger resins. So what this does for your aquarium is it's going to help remove toxins, metals, and odors in your water. It's going to polish your water and make it more clear. It's going to reduce phosphates in your tank, and it's going to help reduce unwanted organics in your water. Alright, I know you guys didn't come here to watch me read off of Fritz Aquatics website, so I'm going to break it down for you and tell you how I would explain what this is and how it can benefit your aquarium and what it does for you. So basically Max Out Pro is what I would call a hybrid filtration media. And what I mean by that is Max Out Pro serves several different functions at one time. It's not a one-trick pony. Some similar products on the market would be like the ChemiPure products, ChemiPure Blue, ChemiPure Elite, and Brightwell Aquatics makes a product called Pureit. Alright, so let's take a look at the three main components of Max Out Pro. First, there's activated carbon. Second, there's phosphate resins, and third, there are scavenger resins. We're going to take a look at activated carbon first, since it's probably one of the most common and one of the most popular types of filtration media in the aquarium hobby. That's saltwater aquariums as well as freshwater aquariums. One of the biggest benefits to carbon is its ability to make your water crystal clear, or sometimes people call that polishing your water. Obviously, one of the biggest selling points to Max Out is the ability for maximum clarity and maximum clarity fast. How do we know that? Because they stamp it all over their jar. And the majority of that benefit comes from carbon. If you've ever gone a while without a water change, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, but over time organics can build up in your water and it can turn a dingy yellow color. That's bad for a couple of reasons. One is it makes your tank look like crap, and two, if you have corals in your tank and you're trying to get the best growth from your corals, cloudy and yellow water can actually reduce your par values by up to 25 and 30%. So that's why it's important to have crystal clear water, especially if you have a reef tank. In addition to polishing your water, carbon also does a really good job of removing funky smells from your tank. Again, if you've ever gone a long time without doing a water change, you've likely had that fish tank smell in your aquarium. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Carbon does a great job of removing the stink and foul odors from your tank. Carbon also does a really good job of pulling toxins, metals, and pollutants out of your water. It pulls metals out like copper. It pulls toxins out. If you have certain corals in your tank that are prone to release toxins, for example some leather corals, it's a good idea to use carbon in your tank because it actually does a great job of pulling those toxins out of your water column. So that's some great benefits to carbon in your tank. So let's take a look at the two other components that are in Max Out Pro. That's phosphate resins and scavenger resins. Phosphate resins are basically resins that help remove phosphates from your tank. This is going to help reduce unwanted algae in your tank. And scavenger resins do a great job of removing unwanted organics from your water. So basically these two resins help to improve the overall health of your tank by reducing unwanted algae, keeping your phosphates down, helping to remove unwanted organics in your tank, which can lead to excessive levels of nitrate. So essentially all three of these components work together to help you have a better tank. Alright, so what was my experience with Max Out Pro? So I won't go into how my phosphates got out of control, but let's just say that they got elevated and I could see visible signs of algae in my tank. So it was a perfect time for me to try Max Out Pro and see what it could do for my aquarium. Now, one of the biggest selling points to Max Out Pro is its ability to provide crystal clear water quickly. Unfortunately, I couldn't really check that because I normally run high grade carbon and my water is almost always pretty clear to begin with, so didn't really see a whole lot of benefit there, but really wouldn't expect to. But I can tell you from a phosphate standpoint, I started at a 0.09, dropped to a 0.06, and then to a 0.03 within a week. So definitely the phosphate resins and the scavenger resins did their job and dropped my phosphate levels before I did a large water change. I did keep it in my aquarium for about 1 month or a little over a month and had no issues with it. My water stayed crystal clear, phosphate levels got down to an acceptable level, and everything was great with the product. As far as using it, it was extremely easy to use. Simply take the bag out of the jar, plop it in your sump or plop it somewhere you can get some good water flow. You don't need to rinse it out like you do with a lot of products that contain carbon. Everything's pre-rinsed, so it's insanely simple to use. Alright, so what are some of the pros and cons to Max Out Pro? As far as the pros, it uses a great combination of 3 separate products. Carbon has a lot of benefits. You have a product in there that works to keep your phosphate levels down, or it can lower them if your phosphate levels are elevated. And then you have a product in there that's similar to something like Purigen, that's a scavenger resin that does a good job of pulling extra unwanted organics out of your water. The next big benefit to the product, at least to me, is it's very simple to use. You literally open the jar, take the bag, put it in your aquarium or your sump, and That's it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to worry about rinsing it out. You don't have to worry about measuring it out. You get 3 separate products in one. And if you don't like to do maintenance, this is certainly a great product for you. You don't have to measure out GFO, put it in a bag or reactor. You don't have to measure out carbon, put it in a bag or reactor, and deal with all of that stuff each month. Alright, so let's look at a couple of the cons to the product. One is it only comes in one size. It treats up to 100 gallons, and I would say that the cost of it is also a con. Now let me clarify that. Do I think the product is overpriced for what you get? Absolutely not. I think it's a very fair price for all of the products that come inside the media bag. However, if you are budget minded, or if you don't mind spending extra time doing the maintenance, then you can certainly buy carbon and GFO individually and run those in your tank for a whole lot less. Carbon is very inexpensive, as well as GFO. Alright, so who do I think this product can benefit? If you're running a tank and you have less than ideal mechanical and biological and chemical filtration, then this is certainly a great product for you, because you're going to get the benefits of carbon, phosphate reduction, as well as extra organic removal, which you may not be getting from your normal setup. An example of this would be someone who has a 75-gallon tank from a big box store. It's not drilled. You're running a large hang on the back filter, and you're not running a protein skimmer. This will be a great product for you, because it's going to provide the added boost for phosphate reduction and organic reduction that you probably need. Also, if you're someone who's having a cloudy and dirty tank, you're having algae issues, and you just can't seem to get your tank under control, this is a great multi-purpose product that you can put in your sump and let it do its magic. If you guys have had any experience with Max Out Pro, please comment down below and let me know what your experience was with the products, both good and bad. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. If you've made it this far, please hit the like and subscribe button.